Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? That your phone's microphone is constantly hot and it's listening for keywords to target advertising. Most glaring instance where this happened to me was when I walked into a colleague's office. He had just gotten a standing desk, but one that goes on top of his existing desk rather than a standalone, pun, model. That's important to note. I said, "Nice standing desk, when did you get that?" "Thanks, just today," he replied. That was literally all that was said about the desk. We talked about work-related stuff, and as I walked out and checked my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for that exact model of standing desk. I have never owned one, wanted one, or Googled one before. Yet there it was on my feed. Tinfoil hat be damned, they listen in. I've had this happen to me twice in the last month. Things I talked about with my daughter, one being hard-boiled eggs, showed up on my feed hours later. There it was, an ad for a hard-boiled egg cooker. Never Googled anything about hard-boiled eggs. Weird AF. I can't remember the first one. When I said something to my daughter about it after the first time, she called me crazy. When I showed her the egg thing, she said, "Well damn. You might be right." This has happened to me multiple times. The time that really seals the deal for me is when my mother asked me to be a surrogate for her, which was heavily declined, as she doesn't need any more children to ruin, one day while over my house. It was either later on or the next day that I was telling my boyfriend about how ridiculous it was for her to be asking me to be a surrogate. Lo and behold, scrolling through Facebook I get an ad that says become a surrogate. Never in my life have I had an ad for surrogates until I said the words aloud. Creepy. That Natasha Jade was murdered by the Catholic Church for exposing a pedophile ring. This is trending on r/conspiracy and r/out-of-t look right now. Credit to you/update for the summary. Natasha Jade, a model/TV journalist, exposed a pedophile ring on live Argentinian TV a few months ago, after following cases over the last few years. She had claimed that she would not commit suicide in April of 2018 while investigating these rings, but was found on February 23, 2019 to be dead from suicide. Another journalist she had accused of pedophilia on the airing, Luis Ventura, had uploaded an image of her dead body shortly after she killed herself on Twitter, and then promptly deleted it afterwards. To quote you/Happy Cake Day 1. She supposedly died from a cocaine overdose, heart failure/stroke. She had said that if she wound up dead, the people she had accused of rape, she was on trial, and it was powerful people, would be guilty. "I won't kill myself, I won't overdose and drown in a bathtub, I won't shoot myself." If she actually said all of that on the record, then yeah, she was most likely murdered. Of course that doesn't mean it was someone linked to the Catholic Church, and it also could have possibly been a coincidence with timing, but I don't know. Editor's note. The link to the subreddit discussing this mystery will be down in the video description, smiley face. The arms on Tyrannosaurus Rex skeletons are backwards. They ought to be rotated 180 degrees. What good are these stubby little arms for? We have found out relatively recently that T-Rex have feathers. It is now an established fact, T-Rex were not covered in scales but in feathers, like a bird. Take the arms on a T-Rex and flip them around 180 degrees. Now you have wings like a ostrich. We used to think of almost all dinosaurs as lizard-like, in fact the name means terrible lizard. Now we know that many different animals that we think of as dinosaurs are more bird-like than lizard-like. XKCD comic below illustrates this nicely. Tyrannosaurus Rex had wings. Not big wings to fly with, but wings that were perhaps something like that of an ostrich, cassowary, or emu, although likely much smaller in proportion to their body. Ostriches use their wings in mating rituals, to make themselves appear larger, and to signal and communicate. Perhaps T-Rex used theirs for some similar purpose. They did not have useless stubby little arms. Isn't there evidence of the direction the arms faced? Like the particular shape of the shoulder socket dictates which way the limb could rotate? Doesn't that preclude wings? There's plenty of evidence of scaly skin in tyrannosaurs. There are only a couple with evidence of feathers. It's likely that it varied from one species to another, and perhaps from young to adult. Lots of birds have both scales and feathers, so it's not unreasonable that tyrannosaurs did too. My conspiracy theory. Facebook purposely attempts to ruin people's relationships because the drama gets more views and more views sell more ads. Several years ago they introduced a feature so that your comments on other pages would show up in your friends' feeds. So if you're secretly an atheist and you comment on some atheist page, it shows up in your devout Southern Baptist Grandma Muriel's timeline, even though it's a conversation that has nothing to do with her and there's no reason for it to be. As a result, Facebook outs you to your family, and Grandma is typing away at all the evil Satanists trying to corrupt her grandson. And if you comment on a public post, it's unavoidable. You used to be able to control who could see your comments even on public posts by other pages, but at the same time Facebook introduced their tattletale feature, they took that ability away. Now if they were to stumble across the same page they'd be able to see your comment, but after that change, Facebook started pointing everybody you know directly to it. Not to mention, the privacy settings are difficult to find, difficult to understand, and with each passing year gives you less and less control over who sees what. By forcibly combining everybody's social circles, Facebook is trying to generate conflict. They want to generate conflict because the conflict happens on Facebook, which means people logging onto Facebook more often and seeing more ads. They're essentially an internet tabloid, except instead of showcasing the personal drama of celebrities for clicks and sales, they're doing it to you instead. Ever notice how the vast majority of family drama, relationship fights, etc. these days happens on Facebook? That's by design. Facebook is literally destroying the social fabric to make a buck. Consuming relationship stability like it's an oil refinery consuming crude. Michael Jackson was chemically castrated by his father to preserve his soprano singing voice, which was the source for his infatuation with children. All rocks are soft until you go to touch them. Sounds like my NVM. That there are hundreds of companies that operate tens of thousands of Reddit accounts each. They have been auto-regging these accounts for years, use scripts to auto-post and comment, and have humans that shift through all the accounts to make various comments to maintain these accounts. These companies have the ability to control and game their way to the front of Reddit. Huge brands use them, special interest groups use them, political parties use them. It's not a conspiracy, it's a real thing. The ballistic missile threat that was sent to Hawaiian cell phone saying, "Seek shelter, this is not a drill," that was later deemed a mistake, was a real missile that was intercepted before impact. Dyson purposefully made the cable shorter over time just before announcing the cordless version. My DC01 has a 12mm flex, my DC14 has a 6.5mm flex. They purposefully made the flex shorter to be an inconvenience and make people want the cordless version. Memes about the NSA and other spy programs are encouraged by the very agencies spying on us, to twist the idea into the absurd and to humanize their agents. Or make everyone paranoid for even asking questions about the surveillance state. Darth Jar Jar was 100% planned and hinted at in TPM, but the sheer amount of hatred for the character made Lucas back down. I actually wish he went through with the original vision. Miley Cyrus's crazy streak was all a carefully planned marketing scheme to get her solidified as an A-list celebrity. I believe it was done to make Disney completely cut ties with her and kill the image of Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana was quite possibly Disney's largest TV show ever, but I haven't seen anyone even mention it for over 4 years now, and despite Disney cashing in on old IPs, Aladdin, Kim Possible, Lion King etc., we have yet to even hear an unsubstantiated rumor regarding Hannah Montana. 12.2. Dad, is that you? But seriously though, my dad has been saying this since she first went wild. She had to do something completely extreme to destroy the image of Hannah Montana, and thus allow her to begin her own career as Miley Cyrus. The Vatican holds horrible dark secrets and many answers to existential questions. And that Area 51 is a publicity stunt by the government to hide the real testing facility. I believe that Area 51 has some stuff that they wouldn't want getting out, but I think it's all pretty normal and the general public wouldn't find too shocking. It's definitely hyped up though to distract us from some other base where the real weird shit goes down. The Vatican has many vaults literally stuffed with thousands of documents that no one but people in the Pope's circle have access to. Who knows what's in those? I'm willing to bet there are parts of the Bible/Christian history that will never see the light of day thanks to Emperor Constantine creating the first official canon of the Bible. I think Area 51 was a military research base like many others, but there was an incident involving some kind of secret technology they wanted to keep quiet from the Soviets, so the NSA spun up the aliens rumors. This unwittingly got associated with Area 51 specifically, so they decided the base was compromised and it is now maintained as a decoy operation. There hasn't been anything interesting or classified at A51 for decades, other than documents about the decoy operation itself. YouTube in a mobile browser is so shitty so they can force you to use the app and not use an ad blocker. Reddit is almost completely unusable in the mobile browser unless you're just looking something up quickly. Some subreddits I've even gotten stuck with banners at the bottom saying to use the app where the button to exit doesn't even work. So you can only see like half the screen. Then there's the giant continue button and tiny part below it to go to the mobile site. Continue very obviously implies continue to the site you were trying to reach, not continue to a different app. That the CIA posts this question every time so they know what the general public suspect. The rich orchestrated the recession back in 2008 to take advantage of the market. The value of expensive art is just as a pseudo-currency for rich people to subtly buy drugs or other illicit things. I don't have time to type it all out right now, but the entire situation surrounding the construction and operation of DIA, Denver International Airport, is strange, even by non-conspiracist standards. Have fun in the rabbit hole. I did a short write-up about this a few years back, here it is, read it if ya want. Denver International Airport, secret bunker, giant cult shrine, and potential concentration camp. There are a lot of conspiracy theories revolving around the Denver airport. I'll try to touch on all the ones I know, but forgive me if I miss a few. There's no doubt that there are some odd things about the airport, from the delayed construction to the massive cost to the odd choice of decorations. Opening on February 28, 1995, 16 months behind schedule and at double the cost of the original estimate, $4.8 billion, Denver International Airport is the largest airport in the U.S. by total land area. 33,531 acres. Not long after it opened, wild conspiracy theories began floating around. One major theory is that there is a massive underground bunker that was built for the world's elite in the event of an apocalyptical event. Another is that there is a massive facility underneath that was built to be used as a concentration camp in the future. Some people believe that the reason for the delay in the schedule was due to the construction of said underground bunkers and tunnels. Supposedly, a construction worker claims that they buried 5 multi-story buildings underneath and built the airport on top of it. Aside from the construction theories, there's plenty of things inside the airport that are just plain odd. One thing mentioned often is the large Mustang statue, shown above, outside of the airport, nicknamed Lucifer. A large blue horse with red eyes that supposedly represents one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, death. Oddly enough, the architect who designed the piece was killed when the horse's head fell on him, severing major arteries and causing what proved to be fatal injuries. Another thing people find odd is the dedication stone inside the airport. One of the first things you notice is the large Freemason symbol in the middle of the stone. Another thing people point to is the date on the stone, March 19, 1994, which if you add up the numbers 191994, you get 33, which is a significant number in the Freemasons, as I believe it is the highest level you can reach in the organization. The last odd thing about the dedication stone is that it says near the bottom, New World Airport Commission contributors. People believe this is reference to the New World Order, which will supposedly be brought on by the Freemasons/Illuminati. Also noted by conspiracy theorists are the 4 odd and slightly disturbing murals that are displayed in the airport. Some people believe these murals are packed with Freemason iconography and occult references and even are a telling of the future. TLDR, Denver Airport is a secret occult super bunker and has some really poor taste when it comes to decorations. What the authorities say, Mick Jagger is simply an iconic rock and roll star and nothing more. Theory from /u/Ramses the Pigeon. The song TikTok, as performed by Kesha, was written by a guy named Benny Blanco. Its lyrics include the line, "We kick them to the curb unless they look like Mick Jagger." That's a little bit strange, right? Mick Jagger wasn't exactly at the height of his attractiveness when the piece in question came out. Stranger still, it wasn't the only popular song to paint the man in a pleasant light. Moves Like Jagger, performed by Maroon 5, was released at around the same time, and Benny Blanco also had a hand in writing that one. This is where things start to get creepy. The song The Time, Dirty Bit, as performed by the Black Eyed Peas, features the following phrase, "All these girls, they like my swagger, they calling me Mick Jagger, I be rolling like a stone." It was written by John DeNicola, who used to produce the music for a band called Kara's Flowers, although you might know them better by their current name of Maroon 5. The song Heart and Soul, as performed by the Jonas Brothers, contains a verse that ends with "making mistakes, but that won't matter, if you can swag like old Mick Jagger." Antonina Armato wrote the piece, and she is managed by Downtown Music Publishing. Care to guess who else they manage? Here's a hint, it rhymes with Balloon Hive. This web of connections extends all throughout the recording industry, but one thing remains unclear, what's the link back to Mick Jagger himself? There must be something, because if you have a look at Google Trends, you'll see that his popularity spiked with the release of each song. The only time in recent memory when it has been higher is during a period in March of 2014, when his girlfriend died. Some people have suggested that the man's name is just easy to rhyme with swagger, but popular usage of the word, in reference to something other than a walking gait, came about after the aforementioned songs had hit the airwaves. In other words, Jagger prompted swagger, not the other way around. Why does there seem to be a cabal of artists trying to artificially inflate the performer's appeal and popularity? What benefit is there in promoting an aging rock star? Who is actually behind this odd trend? In order to answer those questions, we need to turn to Vivendi. This is a company which owns a lot of stuff. Their subsidiaries include Dailymotion, Ubisoft, Gameloft, and the Universal Music Group. The Rolling Stones signed to Universal Music in 2008. In 2010, all of the songs listed above were released. Look at those Google Trends again. 2008 marked Mick Jagger's lowest ever dip in popularity, and the slump continued until February of 2010, right after TikTok became the most popular song on the radio. In September of that same year, the Rolling Stones re-released their Rare concert movie, securing the #1 spot on 4 different countries' charts, the US and the UK being 2 of them, second place on 4 more, and a double platinum certification in Canada. Strangely enough, though, the only other place, besides the United States, where platinum status was achieved was in France, which is where Vivendi is located. What if all of this was carefully planned and executed? What if there's a shadowy organization that's intent on promoting Mick Jagger for their own profit? What if I made all of this up on a whim, and just found whatever tenuous evidence I could to support it? TL, DR, Mick Jagger is a puppet of the recording industry.